My understanding of the spiritual life is that we're not training ourselves to be better than other people, but to be better for other people. And so, it's very, very easy, in all walks of life to try to, stand out or stand up, stand apart, be better, try to seem better. And that's no exception in the spiritual life either. There is that tendency to try to, look better or feel better, or superior. And that's a misunderstanding of the spiritual life. We're all in the same boat. And it's the Titanic. We're all suffering. We're all having the same kinds of problems. There's nobody, different like that. And the point is to learn how to achieve the goal that we all have equally. We all equally have the same goals. Fundamentally. The fundamental goal that we all have is to be happy. Full stop. Well, not quite. Semicolon. And to avoid pain. To avoid suffering and to be happy. And everyone's just the same that way. And everything that we do is informed by those goals. From the time we wake up in the morning to the time we go to bed, and everything in between is fundamentally motivated by those two goals. Just trying to be happy. That's why we go to work. That's why we have our relationships. That's why we, buy our stuff here on Chapel Street. That's why we go to the clubs. Just trying to be happy and avoid pain. And avoid the pain of all kinds of pain, right? So another way of talking about the universality, the thing that makes us all alike, is the search. I'm going to try this out. This is like floating a new balloon a little bit. Lots of new balloons floating tonight, okay? So instead of talking about happiness, which is what I usually do, sometimes I think nowadays that happiness has gotten to be hackneyed. Hackneyed words, so people don't even really hear it anymore, so maybe sometimes. And so I'll try it this way. We're all trying to be free. We're all trying to achieve freedom. And in the world's religions, this has been elevated to a religious goal, freedom. In the Hindu traditions, they speak very, very explicitly about this being the goal. Moksha, mukti, in Sanskrit means freedom. Buddhism also has some version of this in the concept of nirvana. Nirvana is defined as the permanent cessation, means stopping, of certain things that are keeping us unfree. So the stopping of the things that are keeping us unfree is the attainment of nirvana. So we're all trying to be free, and we're all trying to be free, and we do so in similar ways. In the secular life, we're all trying to be free of poverty, for example, which is why we, go to work and invest our income and stuff like that, right? We're trying to be free of loneliness, so we make friends and we take our partners and get married and so on. Trying to be free of boredom, which is like the big bugaboo nowadays. Is, oh my God, maybe I'll have a few seconds when I won't be, connected to the World Wide Web and texting somebody and, watching television or, in one way or another being bombarded by sensory data. This is becoming the new, big fear. Is what if I were bored, What if I didn't have anything else to do? Which I think is sometimes I think is the resistance also to learning how to meditate. Because meditation's the big boredom. You're not doing anything really. Just sitting there, So we're just trying to be free in those kinds of ways. Those are the secular kinds of ways. And unfortunately they don't work. Trying to be free that way, real freedom, real happiness, isn't found in those things. Isn't found in things external to ourselves. And the proof of that is that, is that it hasn't worked so far. Lord knows we've tried, right? It's not for lack of trying to find happiness and freedom in the money, in the job, in the possessions, in the relationships, in the entertainment experiences, in the Facebook. It's not like we haven't tried that. We've tried it over and over and over again. There's a definition of insanity like this. Insanity is trying the same thing, trying a thing that doesn't work over and over and over again. Trying something that fails over and over and over again, hoping that someday it'll succeed. And pretty much our whole lives are like that. You know, our whole secular lives are like that. Just over and over and over again, trying something, trying the things that we think will bring us satisfaction, contentment, and never attaining that, never obtaining that. It's never enough. Have you noticed? Never enough money, never enough iPods, never enough positions at the job, never enough status, never enough relationships, never enough friends, never enough boyfriends, girlfriends, husbands, wives, over and over again. We try, Mick Jagger was right. You can't get no. And we try and we try and we try. Does anyone not know that song? The soundtrack of our lives, right? And he's right. You can't get no satisfaction. And we try and we try and we try. Over and over and over again. The same kinds of stuff over and over and over again. It doesn't work. Won't work. So that's not real freedom. Real freedom is not continually having itches that we scratch, you see? We're slaves to the itch. And we just keep scratching. And every time we scratch, it's in the hopes that it won't itch anymore. You see? If only I got the iPad, what are we at now? 3? iPad 3? Yeah? If only I got the iPad 3. First of all, it's like this. I have the iPad 2 already. But then a new itch arises. iPad 3 itch arises. And we go, I'd better scratch that itch. I got an itch for it, I want it. And we're nowadays totally confused between the difference of wanting and needing. We immediately go, I want, therefore I need. So I need, and the itch becomes like severe. Because, it's one thing to want. That's a minor itch. To need, then I gotta scratch. And we buy the iPad 3, and we scratch, hoping that the itch will go away, you see. And it does serve temporarily. The iPad 3 itch goes away. And then what? What do you suppose? It's just like the Mozzie bites, okay? Just like when you get a Mozzie bite. And you keep scratching the Mozzie bite, and for a little while, the itch goes away until what? It comes back even more so, right? Even stronger. The freedom is the state, you ready? Of itchlessness. That's real freedom, you see. Real freedom is not just having over and over and over again to scratch the new and improved itches, but to get to the point where you're content. I've been telling my students this for a while now. They don't like it. They don't much like it. Here's what I tell them. What if I told you, these are all like Buddhists, Buddha heads, who, come and they read all these books and, sometimes, fairly mythological kinds of accounts of the goal. Mythological means that they don't have literal reality, okay? That's what mythological means. Mythological doesn't necessarily mean untrue, but it means truth at a symbolic level. So they read the mythologies and then they mistake it for the literal thing. They mistake mythology for reportage or something, journalism. And they read, when I'm a Buddha, I'll be living in a pure land where, everything's perfect and the temperature is exactly 24 degrees, with low humidity, and the trade winds are blowing, and there'll be beautiful flowers everywhere. The smells will be just awesome, and the very birds will be singing the Dharma, the truth, the teachings, and the ground. I'm not kidding you about this one. Some of that other stuff I just made up, but this one's in the accounts. Okay, the ground will be made of lapis lazuli. You know what lapis lazuli is? That blue stuff with the gold flakes in it. Only it won't be hard, because that would be unfortunate to have to walk on hard ground. So it'll be spongy lapis lazuli. You know, like unicorns will be, you know, running around in the fields. It's like Oz. You know, in the Wizard of Oz, it'll be like Oz. And we'll get out of our samsaric, our unenlightened, you know, crappy house from Kansas, and which is in black and white, and we'll open the door, and there we'll be. There'll be dancing flowers and munchkins and, you know, unicorns and color everywhere and like that. And so I tell them, I say, look, you know, maybe, I don't know, maybe. But what if I told you that the goal was nothing other than contentment with this life, the way it is? What if we worked hard, you know, to achieve contentment, satisfaction, itchlessness? And then, you know, if there's more after that, would you be discontent with your contentment? Hoping for the unicorns and the dancing flowers, you see? Impossible, right? It's a little bit of a conundrum. If you were content and there was, you know, unicorns, great. But if you were content and there weren't, that would be fine too. Win-win. You see, I don't know. I don't know if there's heavens or, you know, these kinds of, seemingly to me, mythological accounts of enlightenment. I don't know. But I know that my life doesn't look much like that. Nary a unicorn have I seen. No lapis lazuli, you know, ground, spongy, or no, there's not even a hard lapis lazuli. See, it's not like my ordinary life, and probably not yours. Although I don't know, maybe you're living a life quite different with the dancing flowers and the unicorns. But you see, if the goal, if the freedom that we're looking for is the freedom from always wanting something we don't have, then that is contentment. See, that's the definition of contentment. And these kinds of spiritual, like, you know, goals, X-Man, you know, kind of lives, you know. And by the way, you know, it's not just the Pure Land. You also will be amazing. You know, they say, oh, you know, you'll know everything, and, you know, you'll have a rainbow body, a body of light. You walk through walls if you want, stuff like that. And it's like, well, you know, maybe, I don't know. But having those kinds of goals and ideals, this kind of surreal, you know, like a Salvador Dali painting. You know those ones with the clocks that are all dripping and stuff. Having those kind of surreal goals is in part keeping us dissatisfied with our reality. Going, this isn't, no unicorns here. See, this isn't good enough. The ground isn't lapis. And I'm not going to be happy until it is. And, you know, you may have to wait a long time for the dancing munchkins. You know. It may be, you know, possible someday to inhabit a kind of a world like that and, you know, have a rainbow body and know everything and all of that. But it's not a very likely thing from where we are, at least where I am anyway. So how about just striving for contentment with who we are, where we are? How about that? And if we get to contentment, like I said before, you can't lose in this proposition. If you got to contentment, and that turns out to be, you know, munchkins and lapis lazuli, pure lands and rainbow bodies, great. But if it turns out that there aren't such things, that's okay too, because you're content, you see. Can't be discontent when you're content. Okay? So that's within our reach. That kind of goal is in our reach. You know, lapis lazuli streets and rainbow bodies seem a little bit far away, at least to me. But contentment is possible. Contentment seems possible. And it's very possible for people like us. Very possible.